Hello. So let's chat. I just thought I would do a few videos so you can get to know me a bit better, so you can get to know my history and what has led me to being nearly at goal now. I nearly said at goal then, but nearly at goal, and my problems with obesity. So in these videos, I will be using the term fat because it's a term that I've had said to me my whole life. And this is my chance to reclaim that word and realise it is just a word. So let's go back to right at the start. So my childhood wasn't easy. There's no one to blame for me being overweight. It was all down to me. My parents had a real tough job bringing me up. I was different from everyone else. And I don't even know when it actually started, the eating. The earliest memory I have is when I was 7 and I was under the hospital dietitian because I'd put on so much weight and they were trying to find a cause for it. Having to attend those appointments every 6 months, being pulled out of school, and I remember a teacher going, "Laura, you've got to go to the dietitian about your weight, your mum's waiting." So the children, like 7 and 8, all knew that I had a problem with my weight, and you could see that I had a problem with my weight. But it wasn't very private as it would be now. There was no discretion over it. And we would attend the hospital. It'd be a whole day event because of parking, just the usual. And she would weigh me and do my height and basically ask me what I was eating. Now, we were really honest and it was mainly the snacks, and Mum was just sort of advising that I was always hungry. She didn't know what to do. And from what I can remember, there was no actual guidance from my mum. It was just, well, you need to stop the snacks. So Mum done exactly what she was told. She stopped me eating snacks and just stuck me to my 3 meals a day. But I was clever. I used to sneak food. I used to nick off my brother and sister. I remember sitting there watching them eat their allowance, and as soon as they put it down to go to the toilet, I would run and eat it. And then, of course, they would squeal on me. And I was like, I haven't, I promise I haven't. And then I'd get beaten up by my brother or sister, or I was the one beating them up for the snacks. When we used to stay at my nan's, she would always have ready salted crisps. And my brother and sister didn't like them, but I was like, go and get it. So tell her you like them and I'll have them. And I used to sit in the toilet eating these crisps. Crisp were my weakness. I would happily eat 10, 15 bags and not even think about it. And at primary school, it got so bad. Now, I don't think I haven't told anyone this, but it got so bad because I wasn't allowed the crisps in my packed lunch. I used to go around the school playground and I would see them on the floor thinking, what a waste. How could you drop crisps? And one kid did drop a whole bag of crisps, and I remember looking over and everything else disappearing, thinking I could just quickly pick those up and eat them and I'll get my fix. I stopped myself. But can you imagine being like, I must have been about 8 or 9 then, and wanting that fix so badly. And it is an addiction, and I know I'm addicted to food. I'm still addicted to food to this day, but it's how I deal with it that's changed. So childhood wasn't great. All through school I was bullied about my size. I didn't have many friends, and it was tough. It wasn't a nice childhood in terms of school life. My mum and dad done their best for me, but I had serious problems that they didn't know how to handle. Mum used to be so stressed out with school uniform shopping. The whole 6 weeks holiday was dedicated to school uniform, and it's not. Now I'm a parent, I realise, and I'm like, why was she so bloody stressed? It's because nothing fitted me. She would spend weeks, we would trail in the shops trying to find, because at that point, we're talking 20, 30 years ago, there wasn't online shopping, it was just whatever the shops had to offer, trying to wait for the deliveries to come in to find the size 18s and the 20s to fit me. And it was never the normal children's uniform shops, it was always the adult section, trying to find stuff that would meet the uniform guidance from the school was an absolute nightmare for her. And I feel so sorry for her now. And no clothes really would fit me. I was constantly in black wide leg trousers and long t-shirts to cover my frame, should we say. But the fact was just everywhere. Everything was a problem. And when I think about my childhood, it was a lot of trips to like supermarkets. There was rarely any sort of days out. And I used to think, why does mum not want to take us out? And I haven't actually spoken to her about it, but it was obvious she couldn't, because I couldn't physically do what my brother and sister wanted to do. So going to the park was hard work for me. So to protect me, my mum just didn't do it. So my brother and sister missed out. And that's hard. That is really hard to sort of digest. Obviously we had some trips out to like Polton's Park, things like that, but just like the normal walks as a family, going to the park, couldn't fit on swings, just the normal things you do for childhood. Mine had to be adapted, and my brother and sister had to come along for the ride. And I'm so thankful for my mum for sticking by me throughout my whole life and not making it a big thing, if that makes sense, because it was a big thing. And yeah, that's pretty much my childhood. I did go to the school prom. Again, it was a specially made prom dress because no shops went up to a size 22, 24. And I hated it. I remember it being really, really expensive and I absolutely hated it. We tried making it look fashionable, but it wasn't. It was just a black tent with loads of gems on it. And yeah, sorry mum, I didn't like it. But I think she could tell from my facial expressions. But I was like, I've got to go because mum and dad have paid out all this money for my hair, the dress and everything. It's not now until I've seen Caitlin go to prom, I realise how much is actually involved in prom. But, you know, it's made me the person I am today. It got bad in secondary school when I got my allowance from my mum and dad, my pocket money. I used to save my birthday money for the tuck shop queue. I used to queue up with my friends, the little ones that I had, the little amount of friends I had, and they would get their food, I would get mine, they would go off and play, and I'd join the back of the tuck shop queue and queue up again. Because they're like, Laura, you can't have any more, that's enough. So then I would try my luck again, and if I didn't, I'd pay my friends, can you go and get me another sausage roll? Can you go and get me another bit of pizza? But the habit had got so bad and my weight problem had got so bad, I just blocked it out, if that made sense. The food was my friend. The food was what made things better for me. And my friend was food. And that's really, really sad to think of that now. But everything happens for a reason, and it's led me to where I am today. So that was a bit somber, wasn't it? But I just wanted to share my reality, really, and how bad it wasn't just overweight. I was morbidly obese, and it was my habits that stemmed from really young childhood that led me to being 24 stone. So these series I'm going to release maybe once a week. So join for next week for part 2, pregnancy, wellbeing, fat.